Greetings everyone, this is the Hydra Mujo Libertate right here, Millennium Hydra right here. I'm gonna be teaching you some little basics upon like Blender. I almost forgot about like what we were talking about, like I was out of this world. Okay, run about now, like we know that like you're gonna be like baby stuff and we have to keep it like baby footsteps. So we'll start with the recording for, let's start opening Blender. So you will have to have internet access, of course. Go to Google Chrome. And we all know about how Google Chrome like will take a whole lot of your RAM, but like it's fine, you can do it. It's basic. Don't cry about this. So you're gonna be searching for Blender. No. Do not search. You're gonna go to Google Chrome and search for Blender. And you're gonna find all these fancy blenders around here. See which one that you actually like. I mean, like, oh my god, there's like a 4999 blender. I mean, you can purchase that. I'm just messing with you. Like, you have to go to like Blender.org. So it's gonna be Blender.org and it's gonna go search to home. So you know how to download like a software. You're gonna go to like whichever latest version it is, then you go like to download Blender 2.992.0. Yeah, I already have this one, so you know what to do. You have to download it. It only takes like 169, but it's actually 215 megabytes. It's so small that you can download it even with like your free internet or connection over maybe like the 20 Wi-Fi or anything like that. So you download yourself some Wi-Fi, download yourself some Blender, install it. Installing is simple. It's gonna ask you about the setup and how you actually install it and where to put it in a program folder. Simple. You just follow the configuration. They're not gonna like let you astray. You're just gonna be installed, and then it's gonna show you where you can find it, the browser file, the program. It's either gonna be program folder or the program times 86. Yeah. After you've done that, now it's time to get going towards the Blender and start blenderizing things. I sound so corny when I say that, but like, yeah, let's carry on. Alright, we're going to Blender. I'm just gonna switch my Wi-Fi on because like I don't want it to be like a little bit excessive upon my RAM. I know, have to store RAM. It sucks to have like all these programs and like you have to worry about RAM. But yeah, Google Chrome takes a lot of RAM. So now as we're waiting for Blender to open, we just have to wait and be patient. Hope your day is good. Hope you like enjoying your days and your life together before you actually prosecute yourself and just suffer the consequences of learning 3D, because like it's a huge steep hill, but like I can get you started from it because like you need a few basic things, but like me as an individual, I usually focus on shortcuts, but we'll start from the basics to move with the boring like UI and stuff. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm just waiting for it to like open up, and after it opens, that's when the time we can actually start beginning with it. Mine takes a long period of time because I like have plugins over add-ons over add-ons over add-ons. I have more add-ons than anybody who's normal in Blender. They will tell you that like I have too many add-ons for Blender. I can share them if you want some like Blender add-ons that can help you with your work. If you want some, I can. Finally, I'm opening 2.91 right now because like in my 2.92 I've opened a scene already which is another completely different scene. It's about like my character rigged in, so like for that you have to wait until I reach that part. But right now we're gonna go for the basics. This is the basic setup where you find like your default cube, the camera, and the sun lamp. As you know that like you need light in your scene. And this is the box that you're gonna be working with. So for navigational purpose, the middle the scroller is a rotation. You just like press it and hold it. You just hold it and you can rotate wherever you want your axis to be rotating with that. Selecting as left select, basically like every program in the whole known universe. Because here, these are the other tools. Okay, this one, let's cut them out because like you won't have this Jarvis tools, because like these ones, some of them I'm not sure how they work, but like they're the same as like creating like floor. It's much more in architectural purpose than Blender as a total, because like Blender you won't find Jarvis in it. You're just gonna find these tools around about here. This is the selection tool that is able to select any object in your scene. This is your whole scene, and this is the list of where your scene is. This is like, as you can see, scene collection. There's a camera, there's a cube, there's a light. It's the basics of all this. So clicking and dragging like this is more like a box selection. Usually I use shortcuts, but like if you want some shortcuts that like work for me and you think like they're gonna work for you, you can tell me. I'll give you like some documentation of shortcuts within Blender. So now, as we were talking about like the tools, this is the cursor. The cursor is where like all your objects, how they're gonna be projected to your scene. Basically, if you want something to be projected in the sky, as you can see the sky is over there, you just add, and then like for instance, let's add in a sphere. Create a sphere is gonna add in right about there in the cursor selected. You can put it anywhere and you can add in any object. Object, cube, Ubisurf, everything. I said Ubisurf. Hilarious. Okay, yeah, but like Ubisoft actually invested in Blender, that's why I had to add it in run about there. Don't shoot me, shoot the game. Okay, the other one is your move tools. These are the basic ones that you have learned about in like Spark AR. Like you have like your X and your Y as the basics of everything in the world. So to actually move something upwards, you have to like select the arrow which you want it to move, and then you move it to the other side. But for like Blender OGs, you know that like we press G for everything, and when you press G, basically you can move it wherever you want. And to cancel your movement is right select. Let's take for instance you have like a box selected and you press G and it moves like this. If you really didn't want to move it, you just right select and then it moves it back to where it belongs. Let me just say it belongs there. Yeah, so now we have rotation. As you have learned from like Unity. You haven't learned Unreal. Yeah, you haven't suffered my fate. Yeah, in Unity, rotation, as you can see, rotating. Rotating on the... Oh yeah. Good grief! Okay, the blue one is the Z-axis, and the green one is the Y-axis, and the red one is the red axis. It's always gonna be that. It's always gonna be that. And yes, we have the proper tool right here, where like the Z is actually up and down when it comes to movement. Z always has to be up and down, because like a plane, when it's on the floor, for instance, let's create a plane. Let's delete this. Okay. When we create a plane is properly on the first floor. This is the axis from here to there, and this is the Y. I don't know why like other software like to put like Y as like the top top of the grid for some particular reason, that like the Y goes up and down, while technically actually it's supposed to be the Z axis. Okay, now like let's move on. This is scale. Basically, you know what scale does. Scale is gonna scale at the y-axis. Scale is gonna scale in the in the z-axis. I don't know why I'm scaling a plane on a on the z-axis, because it's not gonna move anywhere. It's not gonna do anything. Let's take like this icosphere. So the z-axis, when you scale it up, as you can see, it has that squash and stretch, which you have learned in animation principle if you're an animator. But if you're a graphic designer, I'm not quite sure whether you have learned it. I'll teach you some other like shortcuts that I mostly love. But let's carry on. Like transform, it's basically mixing all of them into one, which is kind of convenient for people who like to drag and drop things. I'm not looking at anybody. Basso, you specifically. Yeah, so like the transform tool actually like has your move, has your rotation, and has your scale together at once. If you want to look at your properties of your mesh, you just press N. When you press N, your properties are gonna be here, or you can go to this like icon right about here, which is gonna show you the same properties as here. So you can see where like the position, the scale, and everything of your mesh looks. Yeah. To the most advanced thing. So now I'm gonna teach you some other tools that I love using, which is Alt R, Alt G, and Alt S. What does it do? It zeroes out everything you have ever done into a mesh. Everything. Corona. Yeah, it zeroes out everything. Let's take for instance like you have like your mesh tool run about here, and like you no longer want it to be here. You want it to be at the center of the whole scene. You just put like Alt G, which is grab. G is for grab. Yeah, Blender uses the real shortcuts, not the ones that you have seen in Unity when you rotate with an E. Come on. Okay, so you Alt G and it puts it back to where it belongs, at the center of the scene. These things are much more important when you're like now rigging. Actually, not rigging, when you're animating and like you want to make a hand, do this. Simple, right? When you rotate everything to make your arm to go straight, it's gonna look like this, but when you Alt R and Alt G and Alt S, it's gonna put it straight back to its resting position, which is gonna be like this, depending on your character. But most characters have this position, or this. It depends on your character or how you have created it. I'll showcase to you one of my like character which I've animated a little bit. I'll show you the basics, but like I'm not gonna go like further in detail because like yeah, it's kind of a steep hole. Okay, but let's not jump the gun and reach to that, because like that's some advanced particular stuff. Now we have to like go to another thing which I love, which is called the modifiers. You see, everything that's here has their own like properties, This is Eve. Everything like where like your program, where your like project is gonna be stored, is stored at a temp. You can customize it and put it at whatever place that you wish to put it. I don't know where you want to put it. Put it where the the sun doesn't shine. Go straight ahead. And you can change like whether like your render passes have to be like JPEG, PNG, bump, iris. I don't even know what iris is. As full HD, which is called 1080p. But if you click here in these buttons, you have other options. Like you can render your footage as 4K, 226p. I don't know why would you actually render above like full HD, to be honest, because like full HD, every movie is rendered in full HD. Actually, they record it in like 2K or 4K, and then they encode it to be like a full HD movie as a final result. Everything. And here you have like your frame rate. You can customize it. You can make it like 12. You can make it like 24 FPS, 23.96, 25. But stick to like Hollywood, which like they only use 24 FPS. Even when they encode it, it's 24 FPS. Modes of like, if you want to select like material mode and render mode. This is material mode. Like when you go to your material, here's the material. You're gonna see it as this splash. You add in like a new. It's gonna give you a PBR texture. This is the best texture option there is. A PBR texture. So once you change it, say for instance you make it green. See, we're in the material mode. If you want to like make it like much more like metallic and like be like crazy upon like metal, you can boost up like the metallic view around about here. As you can see, like here it's gonna be your material. You can scroll up and you see what your material name, and you can rename the material, say green like Hulk, or bulking green like KSI. Okay, now you can go back to like your metallic. You can move it to 1, and then it changes the look. Right now you see it like it's much more blocky, so if you want it to be smoothened out, you just right click on it and then you say shade smooth, and then you can see it's quite smooth. Let me take it out, and now you have a metal ball. It reminds me of this song Miley Cyrus. I came here like a wrecking ball. Gonna be like the render passes. This is gonna be the render. It's like your ball, how it's gonna be rendered. This is the color that it's gonna be rendered. As you can see, there's still the sun run about here, which can... Good grief, lad. What's going on? Okay, yeah. Here's the sun run about here. Okay, what are you doing? Yeah. My scene is just playing around with me. It's like trying to configure everything out. Okay, yeah. Here's your sun. Let me move it out of the 3D cursor. This is your sun, which you can change from like point sun to super sun to spotlight to area light. I usually like using area light because like they're more like soft boxes, just like my lights that I use for getting that color to my body to make it not look too shiny or too dark. So yeah, we move from here. These are the basics that you have learned about like 3D, basically. This I try to make it like minimal as it is because like it gets complicated. Okay, for instance, like now I'm gonna teach you like few shortcuts that you can learn run about now before we hop into like our scene that we have created for this particular thing, for sending it out to Basu so that like he can put it in a scene. I don't know whether he's gonna have like all the data required for it, because like that character has like a huge spec of detail. I don't know whether like his computer is gonna be able to handle that character, because like he's 14,000 polygons. But we'll see if he can if he can be able to handle such things. Okay, another thing, like now is gonna be shortcuts. So the shortcut number one is G, right, to move your mesh all around, and the right selection is gonna cancel all your movement. But if you want to position it anywhere at the scene, you just left select it, and then it's gonna stay there. Another one is gonna be rotation. Rotation is R. Yeah, R. Not like those crazy software like Unity where it tried to make like rotation as E. I mean, even Unreal Engine has its rotation in R. So rotation, as you can see, you can rotate it. You can choose where you want to rotate it, whether the X rotation, you press X, or the Y rotation is gonna rotate. But like if you want to rotate it on those particular axes, you have to press like R first, and then you can choose like whichever you want. Maybe you want to rotate it on the Z axis, you can rotate it like that, and you can move your mouse and it will rotate. Or you can actually type, because like if you want it to be like rotating at the 90 degrees on the Z axis, you just type in 90, it rotates. That was like hard to see, but like let me try to make it with a plane. I'll put like R, then X, then 90. As you can see, you can type in like 90, you can type in like negative 90. It depends on you, like the freedom is yours. This is what they call the world, the scene. You are the god of this world. You have to create whatever you want to create. So like we have our character that we created. Yeah, because like I went complicated, overcomplicated. It's gonna be like my scene. Well, this is the timeline, and this one is something new. It's not actually new in Blender. It was there before Blender 2.97, I think. Yeah, but not many people have been using it. This is called the non-linear animation layer, where like you layer your animation. And here is my character, who I actually put like two animation that are gonna be working run about here. I can hide the skeleton, as you can see, and then I can play it. As you see, he moves from like a walk to a run. This one is just like few frames. Right now, like my computer seems like it's having a hard time like processing everything faster, because like I have like two of my blends open and Google Chrome. Let's close Google Chrome. Let's see if it's gonna play faster. No, it's gonna play slower, because like I'm also recording and stuff. But that's how like you mix up like your animations with animation layers and NLAs. So this is like my rig for my character. Yeah, this is over Labyrinth, and if you want to like go to like pose mode, you just press Control Tab, and then it puts you in pose mode, where like you can move your character freely. Let me just select it. Senses. So yes, see, I've selected the hand. Now I can move it with G. And I know you might ask like, what is this skeleton around about here? This is like basically your armature. These are like the controls. This is the armature of it, so that like it's basically the same one thing. It's just it showcases you that like your controls have an amateur that moves. Yeah, it's not amateur, it's armature. Yeah, which you use for like moving your character around. So the thing that I was talking about, like the control G, as you can see, the arms around here are like closely tight. So when I select all of them, yeah, because I love actually using shortcuts. I don't think you can learn like shortcuts faster. So roundabout here, you selected all of the controllers. You press Alt R, and bam, your arm goes back to its resting position. If I press Alt G, it's gonna put it back to its rest position, and this is the resting position for my character. As you can see, he has his arm stretched out. Yeah, that's how I did it. So these are like the animation layers that I was talking about. I love how I love to use these animation layers because like run about now, like you can create like your lip sync. Let's say for instance your character has a dialogue. I have a tool. I know. I am Hydra. Yeah, I know, I am Hydra. I always have a way to actually do something much more shorter, much more easier, and much less computer power than I need. So here, when we're doing like a lip sync, I have this tool, this add-on. If you want it, you can ask me, and like I can send it to you. Basically, it's called Robot Lip Sync. So basically, let me go to like my action pose. This is a pose library. You create your own pose library and you can have like many poses which you can animate at a faster pace. I have created like a pose library, I think, for like 3 characters now. And completely different ones. I think like I've created like 120 poses, I think. Yeah, to make my animation process much more simpler, rather than like doing animation from like from bits by bits, or like chunking up like little by little, like animating everything. Because as you can see, like my character has more than like it has like 156 controllers. I was saying about my character, we have to actually see him rendered, right? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna show you the render preview of my character. I hope it doesn't like take forever like the last time, but let's go. So right now it's gonna be like processing the material to actually see whether like my character can conform or looks the part, or like all it can. What's the thing again? Yeah, it can compile the shaders. Wow, I don't think that was not compiling the shaders to where they were from. So basically, we're not in patches, and you're gonna how cool my character was. I love this character. I've created him. Yeah, enjoy. Amongst the characters that I have. You know, I was curious whether I should show like other characters, and maybe do something anime style. I hope by this, but like one of them, I was like compiling shade. Oh my god, I can't remember my more. Okay, my character is shade compiler. I see he's the character. Let me remove like the bones, the armature, because I know like it's kind of disturbing the way he looks. This is basically how my character looks. I added some lights so that like it can shine backwards, and I can have like that rim looking like shading at that. The session is gonna be about UV unwrapping. Basically, we're gonna be UV unwrapping this character's like clothes to make it look like this. basically. Yeah, this is one of my anime character that I've created, rigged and everything. So this dress, we're gonna be UV unwrapping it. Even though that I actually did it, I'm just gonna give you like the explanation of like how to UV unwrap it. So these are like the sections where like they call working pipelines, from like the layout, the subsection where like you can focus on whatever particular thing you want to do for your mesh. For instance, like modeling, sculpting, UV editing, texturing, shading, animating, and rendering and compositing. Scripting, if you know coding, it operates on a Python script, so it's much more audible and it works much more properly rather than Mel script. And I hate Mel script, honestly. All the system that uses Mel script just pisses me off. Yeah, but then again, we have to work with all of the Mel script program, such as like your whole Adobe suite. But yeah, we live with it. So basically, when you have your character run about here, you have created your mesh and everything. Now you have to unwrap it. To unwrap it, you're gonna press tab, which moves you from like object mode to edit mode. This is edit mode, where you're gonna see your geometry, your basically your work line and like your edge flow. Yeah. So basically, when you like UV unwrapping, you have to mark the seams, and seams are what you call these things in your clothing. Those lines that start up in your clothing, beneath your clothing, and going up towards like your armpit and moving like that. Especially with a jersey like this, you have like seams on the side and around here, so that like you can actually project this detail into a straight plain line, because this is what they call like 3D space, and then you have to transfer all this information into 2D. I know, a bit complicated, but welcome to the orchestration of your destruction. 3D is much more complicated than you can ever comprehend. Yeah, with that said, if you want to have like a seam, especially having this one that I see, like having a seam that moves from like the armpit of your character going downwards and reaching the end of the dress run about here, so that like you can project it into an image. You will have to mark the seam. By marking seams, to mark a seam, you have to press Shift, Alt and Select, but you have to be in edge mode. So there's 3 subpart modes. This is vertice mode, where you have the dots. These are called vertices, which you can move with, remember, G. Or you can use the all lame things of like clicking and dragging. It's also permitted here, but like I prefer pressing G, because like it gives you much more freedom to move it wherever you want. So there's vertices, as I was saying, there's vertices and there's edge, which is like these lines are called edges of your character, and then there's faces. Faces are basically the polygon that we were talking about like in our Spark AR class. These are basically a 4 edge part of your mesh. So these are polygons. There's also something called triquads, but it's complicated to actually work with them, because like there's like more geometry, but like it's basically like timesing your geometry by 2, and nobody actually works in like triangles. You rather use squares as your geometry, squares and rectangles into your geometry, in order to get the proper like UV set and edge flow to be much more proper. Basically, it's the proper way of like modeling. I'm just gonna make it simple as that. So now if you want to have like this whole seam, there's a couple of ways that you can do it, but I'll tell you the most easiest way to actually select an edge flow. And if like your edge flow doesn't get selected, the whole thing doesn't get selected, that means the edge flow ends at a certain point. But here we have like a full seam from the armpit going downwards. So we will select this one. We just shift alt and then select, which is gonna select the whole vertex like this. As you can see, it ends round about there, and then you can add in like the top one, the same way that you actually use the Alt-C and stuff. After when you get this, after getting your vertices, especially you have to get like both of them, both sides, so that like they can unwrap, because like it's more like peeling off a banana. To make it in a simple term, it's a way of peeling off a banana so that like it can fit into a plane. Basically it's the same principle, so we're gonna be using that kind of principle to mark our seams from this mesh. So we're gonna do this again, run about here, and then we got our seams. Now to actually make them a mark seam, so that like it indicates that like these are seams, you're gonna press Ctrl E, and then you're gonna search for something called mark seams, which is gonna make like your seams look red, and that will indicate to you that this place is split and this is a seam for your character. And after when you finish with all your seams, let me just do like this example right quick. As you can see, Ctrl E, then mark seams, look for mark seams. When you're done marking your seams, you can press A to select everything, and then you can press like U. Wait, are we in UV editing? Oh yeah. When we select U, it's gonna showcase like the unwrapped texture, the final end of your unwrapped texture. Basically, it's gonna be like this. So you're gonna press U, and it's gonna ask you, what are you actually doing? Smart projecting, UVs, light projecting, UVs, whatsoever. We're just gonna do UV mapping, UV unwrapping, basically. After that, selecting that, there you have like both of the side of like your mesh, the seams of your mesh, and your whole dress looking accordingly towards like how like it's supposed to be. Like since this one I did like much more, this one is a customary UV that I done before, because like there was extra geometry upon this, so I textured with like I textured quite a long time ago, so I don't want to ruin my UVs. But basically it's gonna end up like this after you finish texturing. And as you can see, the seams, they're not visible because they're not visible, but like you draw the seams if you want to. That's an option for you. If you want to, you can draw the seams. Especially you can use like softwares such as like Creator, Photoshop, Substance Painter, Quixel, or Model. There's a lot of options that you can do. This is my anime character that I created. When did I created him? I mean her. It's been a while. It's been a long period of time. So like, yeah, you're gonna, the same principles that I show you, you're gonna do them to your whole character also. And there's other methods of like UV unwrapping, but those ones are for like, let's take for instance, you have a scene. Let me open one scene that I think I can explain with, hopefully. Okay, don't save. Take for instance this scene. It looks like a basic scene, but like here I use like a different method to unwrap all of this. Right about here I actually use something called Smart Project. As you can see how the buildings look and the consistency of them. These are like buildings and like they're on top of UVs on top of UVs on top of UVs, because like I wanted to have or not these facades. Yes, I use this particular facade to actually get like all the textures to be consistent when it comes to like the whole mesh. And now I'm just gonna show you how does this correlate towards the building. This is basically when you use like smart UV projection. And other methods of like doing this, you can use like UV, and there's one runabout, where is it? UV, yeah, texture projection. You can use this, which is gonna make like your whole buildings be in a straight line, so that like there's like constant repetition, because like when this yeah this material is actually constantly repeating a whole lot of times. And let me check something. I want to do something. I hope it doesn't affect it. I'll move it like GX. Yeah, so here I've unwrapped like my whole buildings, and after that I will go to material view so you can actually see how my buildings look. Okay, let's move backwards. Yeah, this city, I've created it in like few clicks, basically. So this is what they call facades. That's why I use like smart projection, so that like I do not have to like worry about like the detailing of like the buildings. So like I can get like the overhaul towards it. Oh my god, these things are just blinding. But worry not, in the render preview they're not this bright. It's just here in the material preview, which is like extremely bright. So we can go to the render view right now quite quick, and this is how my city looks like in render view. I know this is disturbing. Let me go to layout so you can see it and catch like a glimpse of the like whole buildings. I'm going to render view, and here you have like your city made up real easy and quickly, and then like you don't have to do like excessive geometry edit and all those constraining structures. Yeah, that's basically about it, about like UV unwrapping. The other things that like are complicated, I don't think I should dive into like the first like video, because like if I explain everything in just one video, your head is gonna explode. That's why like they say like in 3D animation you need at least 3 years of experience before you can actually master the software or master like 3D, because like it's extensive when it comes to like working with all of these like objects and stuff. But you know what, as for fun, I think like I should showcase like my other like characters and stuff. You know, have some fun a little bit. So like I can show you some other characters that I've created all over. Okay, we're gonna go for our dark elf. Let's save it. Doesn't matter. I could explain everything, but like it's gonna be complicated to explain everything because everything is just like hard. And the thing is, you have to learn the long way, the long, complicated way before you can get introduced to shortcuts. Because, like, usually I work with like shortcuts. I find ways to do something in a simpler way because, like, that's me. That's my workflow. That's my workflow. So here we have like our new character. Not actually new, but new to you. It's one character that I've created. Also has like a little bit of an animation towards her. I wonder which animation did I actually did for her. Let's see. Yeah, well, this was like a round table. This like circle around here constrained like the camera to rotate around her, so that like if like you can see this is the camera view. If I press play, it's gonna rotate. And then she's walking. And the camera is rotating. Yeah, beauty of it, right? So beautiful. Yeah. Let me come out of that. So yeah, this is one of my characters that's gonna be in the story. I'm still working on that particular scene. So this is like my character. Oh my god, her eye popped out. This is what happens sometimes in 3D, but it's simple to put it here, put it back. Yeah, so now it's back. So basically I made like a simple animation, and then like this is like her bow and arrow. Her bow and arrow actually like as it is right now, it like recoils and like transforms out. Let me just show you. It transforms, stretches out, and then it becomes straight so that like she can use it. And this took me like quite a while to actually get it to work like that, but yeah, you know, our methods are insane as an animator. So I parented the bow and arrow with her arm, so that like every time I move her arm, even the bow and arrow moves. But the bow and arrow has its own controllers. So I select both of those like what do they call them again? Controllers. Yeah, then go to pose mode with it. And then I can press like the main controller of the bow and arrow, and if I scale it, you can see it changes direction. Now it has changed its direction, but like I can press like Alt S, and then bam, it changes back to its position again. It's a nice like little trick, subtle trick that like many character riggers actually do, especially when it comes to like things like Transformers, where like you play around with like scaling rather than playing around with like animating the whole particular thing. It's like you scale a particular control, which is gonna like allow everything to scale and like animate to a different position. Then like when you alt scale it, you just get like this interesting animation that comes out. It's just the method is too much. Don't think about it too much. Okay. Let's see. 13. Ah. Okay, make it 7. 5:30. Let's make it 6. Yeah. So basically, this is our character, Hanlin, which is a dog elf that's gonna be part of the story, and she's gonna be like the one who helps Harold upon like his quest. As you can see, I wonder if I can just do something real quick, because this is disturbing. The eye that I'm selecting is disturbing, so we'll go here. Come on. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hide the rig. And this is how she looks. I can get like a close-up of her eyes, because I wanted like that like little ray of like light that looks like what is it? I think like Gadlejo knows this a ring light. Yeah, that's what like her eye like lights up and to be like. And like I can control it, but I don't think like I'm gonna teach you guys like how to like control like the emission level of like a character's eyes, because it's a bit like little complicated. And I don't want like your guys to have a mindgasm. But basically, as you can see, like her eyes are like lit a little bit. So I have this controller in the shader view, where like when I boost it up, her whole eye just lights up, and when I change it, it's not there, and then I put it at a reasonable like value, like this one, like 0.14. So this is basically like the one that controls like the emission of the eye, and whether it becomes like all black and out and only the rim is the one that's showing. Like my character is completely detailed. So now we're gonna move on to another character that we created. It's just that we haven't finished rigging the character. Actually, we haven't rigged the character quite yet, because we had like a lot of like turning things. I mean, like for instance, like my sound guy all of a sudden like disappeared on me when he was like supposed to like submit my sound effects. Now I have like a sound library that I have, and like the sound library that he was supposed to like bring to me, it's somewhere in the universe. But you know what, like we grow, we continue with our lives. Yeah, this is like the character. Basically, this is gonna be like the main antagonist of the story, which are called the Kafirs. And yeah, if you can actually like hear the sound of them, the name Kafirs, and you take a look at our own history, you actually can formulate the two and find out like where do I come up with that name. Okay, this is not much. Let me remove this. Okay, I don't know why there's this thing. Yeah, this is gonna be the Kafers. As you can see them, they're like much more of like a basic mesh. It looks basic, but like if you can look at the material, bro. If I show you the material, you're gonna go crazy. Like the suits that are created, these are like fucking epic. I'm just gonna show you them. I'm just gonna show them in material view first, and then I will go to like the render preview. Let it compile first, so you can see the characters, the main the main antagonists are gonna look like. And this is like the space suits that I've created in Substance Painter. Here I went overzealous, over crazy with the detail because like I wanted them to look extremely good. I wanted people to actually look at them and just have like few questions upon like whether they're good or bad, so they can come up with their own judgment of like the character, the Kafers. Excuse me. This is the suit that they're gonna be wearing. As you saw like back there, like the detail looked like it was basics, but like actually there's more towards the details that meets the eye. So I'm gonna show you even the back, because there's more detail and more detail and more detail. Yeah. So as you can see, okay, this is gonna be like the enemy of like the whole story that I'm working on. This is not the story of like what we're working on in class. This is like one of my side project that I've done. So we can go to like the render preview so we can see it in its full glory. Let me check. Yeah, for this I chose like a night scene, so that like to showcase them how they look at night, because like it's gonna be like a person that's like gonna be chased by somebody with like neon glowing lights in their suits and running towards them with guns. It's so gonna be epic. This is what like I was looking for. And then like I'm gonna just change like the lighting right now and make it look much more sunny, because I know that like most of you were gonna be like, can we see it, can we see the character when it's like lighting and stuff, like, okay. Let me just get this area. Calibrate that. Oh yeah, for this one. Oh yeah, this one I didn't make like I didn't put like controllers for controlling the skies and night, which I'm gonna be doing. It's completely easy, it's not that complicated. There are like, what is it, five cars that's gonna be there. Yes, I rigged the car, and I have like shape keys for this particular car, so that like if it gets for instance hit by like if it bumps with another car, we have a shape key. Wait, where are the shape keys? Where are the shape keys? Oh, here they are. I almost got shocked a little bit. I was looking for my shape keys. These are gonna be the shape keys for like for the damage of the car, which like this process I've learned from like from Autodesk, basically back when I used to like go to college. because yeah, I come from an Autodesk project and like I learned Blender by myself. So this like actually happens to like this dents like damages the car at certain areas, as written right here. This one is the back, where like it gets hit to the back, and you can put a keyframe so that like it showcases that like it gets damaged. You can just play with the like keyframes to make it straight, or make it like is this the left side or the right side? I'm not quite sure, but like let's check it out. Yeah, so that like you get like the interaction between like the two cars. If like a cop car comes along and hits this car and it gets damaged, you just animate this, and you got yourself like a believable like animation physics upon your car. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have a great, wonderful day.